Hello and welcome back to Firestorm Games and part 2 of our look at the Horus Heresy Betrayal At Calth box set. Now in part 1 we focus on just the miniatures, but this time around we're looking at all the tokens and rulebooks that you get as part of this box set. So let's open this up and start by looking at the rulebook. So here we have the rulebook, which contains all of the rules for playing Betrayal At Calth, and first of all we have a little bit of background about the Horus Heresy and an introduction about the actual game itself, along with the contents and also the contents of the rulebook. A little bit more background and some artwork for the Battle of Calth, and then we actually come on to the actual rulebook itself. Now this is a general breakdown of what's in the box. So we've got the miniatures on the left that we've already looked at, and also some of the game tiles which we'll be looking at shortly. We move on now to descriptions about the cards and also the tokens that are used in the game, and we'll also be looking at these in a moment. And next we start actually moving on to the rules themselves. Now all of the rules are nicely laid out. They're fairly simple and straightforward to understand. It's a hex-based movement and range for everything like that. Each of the kind of principles that you see in this rulebook are actually denoted by these little diagrams with an example. So very easy and nice to follow, very simple, straightforward rule set. We've got a few pages there, so this is shooting, and then we actually move on to the war gear as well. So we've got plenty of different weapon options here. So we've got the standard bolt guns and combi bolters. Move on to some more specialised weaponry, such as combi weapons, flamers, bolt heavy bolters, heavy flamers, melter guns, all sorts of different things there, and then move on to the melee weapons at the end there. We also get some scenarios as well. There are 6 scenarios that you can play all together, and you can make your own though as well. So we've got examples of here how you can set up the hex boards and exactly what the victory conditions are, and each of those is slightly different. And then we come right to the final one, which is scenario 6. Page break with some artwork that we've already seen on the front cover there, and this goes into some background about the Horus Heresy as well. So we've got a couple of pages of that. Background about the Battle of Calth itself, and then we move on to talking about the Ultramarines. So we've got a little bit of background information there, and then some diagrams as well that you can use for painting references for the Ultramarines, and then we've got the same thing for the word bearers just at the back here as well. And the final page is, of course, just a kind of an advert for Forge World and some of the other Horus Heresy products that are also available. The final page on the back is a quick reference sheet that you can use when playing the game to make sure that you are actually getting everything correct and you don't have to go traipsing through the rules. So now that we've looked at the rulebook, let's move on to looking at the tokens. So in the box set we get a range of different tokens. They're all made of this kind of card, which you'll see when you see the hex tiles. We've got different obstacles such as these doors, we've got barricades such as these there. We've also got activation counts as well, so you can keep track of actually how many activations your units have had, and also a few other tokens that you can use throughout the game. So in addition to these, you also get several cards as well. In the Betrayal At Calth box set, there are 4 main card types. On the left here we have the damage cards for Sorgarax, which is the Dreadnought, and each one of these determines a different area of damage that you can do, and also the armour of different areas. Next we have these 2 sets in the middle, which are the command cards for the word bearers and also the Ultramarines. Now each player draws one of these per turn, and these give the player different effects. So for example here we have Frenzied Charge, which affects Assault. We've got a little bit of kind of description of how it works in world, and then also how it affects the game there as well. So we've got lots of different effects as you can see there, and each of these are unique to the Ultramarines and the word bearers accordingly. On the right here we have some actual unit listings. So we've got the Sorgarax Contemptor, we've got Kurthzed the Chaplain, we've got the Legion Veteran Tactical Squad there for the word bearers, we've got Captain Aethon for the Ultramarines, and then the other 2 Ultramarine units as well. This details their armour, stamina, assault and bulk ratings, and on the back you can see the war gear as well, which they're equipped with. So everything's really nicely laid out, and as we've already seen in the rulebook, it's very straightforward and simple to follow. So now let's move on to taking a look at some of the tiles. So here we have one of the 4 tiles that is found in the box set of the Betrayal At Calth. Now each of these sections are split into hexagons, as you can see here, which are used for kind of determining ranges and movement and things like that. Now each tile is double-sided, so on the one side we've got an Ultramarine Temple, and the other we've got kind of like a demonic worldscape just on here as well. So as you can see, these tiles really do have some really nice artwork printed onto them. Here you can see you've got a quite nice blasted landscape there, and obviously the lighting effects that we've got on the temple for this side as well. And if you just bring in another tile, you can see how easily these sections slot together. They just simply lock together where the hexes are cut, and you can create some quite interesting style boards, as you can see, just by messing around with how you lock them in like so. So now that we've looked at the actual tiles, let's look at the final item, which is of course the dice. So here we have some of the dice found in the Betrayal At Calth box set. So there's 12 of those all together, but we have 4 different sides on each die. So we've got the shield, hit, critical hit, and also the blank marker as well. Now we get 2 shields, 2 hits, 1 critical hit, and 1 blank on each dice. And the way they work in the game is fairly self-explanatory. The shields are rolled if you're defending against hits. These 2 dice are rolled if you're actually trying to score hits. And finally, this is just kind of a blank dice. And if that hit shows up, it means it's a wasted dice. So fairly straightforward and nice as a kind of, in opposed to just using a d6, it's very kind of clear as to what each of these dice mean and how they affect the game. So now we've looked at all the dice and the tokens and everything else in the game, let's zoom out and get an overall summary for this box set. So that was the Horus Heresy Betrayal At Calth box set. Now we've looked at all the miniatures in the first video, and in this video we've looked at all the tokens and the extra items that you get, and I can still safely say it is excellent value for money. I mean, especially when you compare it to other Games Workshop products, especially the infantry, the tactical marine squads, the terminators, everything you get in here really does add up to actually a great saving overall. Now whether or not you just want to get started with the Horus Heresy and start collecting all 30k army, or you really want to kind of bring in some unique looking Space Marines to your chapter, this is a great place to kind of head to. You get a great starter set of Space Marines, and also kind of you've got the game as well that you can play at the same time. So as I've already mentioned, this box set is available from the Firestorm Games web store, and I'll pop a link in the description below where you can actually pick up your copy there. So make sure you subscribe to be kept up to date with any more Games Workshop unboxings or any other manufacturer unboxings that we do. And until next time, thanks for watching and goodbye.